Is this a surprise to the market? Stock's taking it in stride.
I mean, I think there was a bit of surprise, just considering that we didn't know if the Trump administration was going to have a similar look at these big tech companies, considering how much they have done to try to appeal to him. There have been a lot of meetings between Trump and big tech execs. We've heard the administration repeat some of the favorite policy lines of big tech execs, but this is the FTC continuing what it started in the waning days of the Biden administration. There hasn't been a ton of turnover, and we do see the FTC moving forward with the Meta trial, which is set to begin in April, and the DOJ is continuing with the Google trial. So this is sort of the way things are for this. But this techlash actually started, we have to remember, it started in the Trump administration.
It did.
A lot of these probes.
I am curious, Sarah, though, what the complexion of antitrust enforcement, or whatever the FTC is going to frame this, what the complexion is. And I ask that because Andrew Ferguson has done a few interviews, including with the Wall Street Journal, where he's been very critical of what the Biden administration did and Lina Khan, but he also made it clear that he doesn't necessarily disagree with the idea of putting pressure on these companies, not necessarily on the issues of, price and, the sort of typical economic, nerdy things that we're supposed to care about when it comes to antitrust. He seemed to be more focused on, woke ideology, and using his phrase, not mine, and other things like that. So is there some sense here that these companies are going to be under the gun, but just for completely different reasons, and maybe why the Biden administration had them under the gun?
It's possible. I mean, it may be a different story. Microsoft isn't a social network or one that brings up algorithmic ordering of content, which you'll probably see a little bit of flavor of that if you look at Facebook, if you look at YouTube. But when you look at Microsoft, it's going to be a lot more about, its hold on the business, the more classic antitrust case. I think that we'll definitely see. Traditionally, with Republicans, including Ferguson, it has been about that sort of free speech argument. Are big tech companies censoring conservative ideas? Are they, having too much power over the global conversation? And we've seen the companies make a lot of policy changes just in response to that pressure. No FTC investigation needed.
All right, Sarah. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. We should point out this really didn't affect the shares. The shares took a slight leg down, but stayed in the green, and now kind of pushing back, not far off the highs of the day. Sarah Frier, a nice look here, and a great scoop by Bloomberg reporters.